Today I'm going to show you a demonstration of our new PenCon tool. The first tab that you need to complete is the Inputs tab. Any cell that you can see on screen highlighted in yellow can be filled in by the user. The first part of the spreadsheet relates to income, and it is split between earnings and other income. In the earnings section, you would put things like employment, pension and self-employment income. Everything else would go into other income. You then move to line 7. This is where you would enter any losses or any reliefs. And in line 8, that would then give you the net income figure. So moving on to section 9, the software then asks if you are a member of a registered pension scheme. You just need to select yes or no from the drop-down menu. Please bear in mind any unused allowances are not available to carry forward from years prior to becoming a scheme member. Next, in rows 10 to 21, you enter different types of pension contributions and pension input amounts. In row 10, you need to enter any salary sacrifice. Once you've done that, if you move to row 12, so within here you enter the gross amount of any money purchase contributions paid net, for example into a SIP or another personal pension. Moving to row 14, within here you enter any contributions paid gross, for example into an old style retirement annuity contract. Moving to row 16, here enter the amount of employee contributions to a defined benefit scheme paid under a net pay arrangement. Row 17, enter any net pay contributions to a money purchase scheme. Row 19, here you would enter any gross money purchase contributions made by the employer. If I scroll down and move to 21, here you would enter the total pension input amount for a defined benefit scheme, including the employee contribution from row 16. Once all of the above is entered, the tool will show the threshold income and adjusted income figures, and then at row 29 show the available annual allowance tapered as necessary. Row 31 identifies whether money purchase contributions are further restricted, if you change the drop-down from no to yes for years in which the money purchase annual allowance applies. If any of these years is a yes, then rows 33 to 36 identify the alternative allowance available for defined benefit input. The final input data is in rows 40, 41 and 42, where you can enter any unused allowances for 2014-15, 15-16 and 16-17. The results of these inputs are then shown in rows 46 to 51, where you can see how the annual allowances are allocated each year. But in row 51 you'll see if there is any annual allowance excess charge. In rows 53 to 59 you can see how each year's pension inputs have absorbed the available allowances. We also show at row 60 the amount of any additional premium that should be paid to use up any brought forward allowances that would otherwise expire. At row 62 we show the minimum additional premium needed to retain the taxpayer's full personal allowance. If you now click on the Client Report tab, you will see a summary for the tax year 1920 which can be shared with your client. We then have two further tools to play with. The Direct Benefit Pension Input Amount tool. This is for members of final salary schemes such as one of the NHS schemes and the Teachers' Pension Scheme. In this screen you can input the employee contribution rate, the opening pensionable earnings, any pensionable pay rise, etc. and any non-pensionable earnings. You should then enter the accrual rate denominator. For example, 60 if the accrual rate is 1/60th for each year of service. You can then enter the lump sum multiple, if any, and enter the number of years of pensionable service at the end of the current tax year. Finally, enter the relevant CPI figure and inflation supplement, and the estimator will then show the opening and closing values and how the total input pension amount is split between the employer and the employee. Please note that the pension input amount tool is not linked to the main input sheet. Finally, we have included a scheme pays tool which will calculate the amount of any allowance tax charge that the member can then ask the trustees to pay. In this tab, you simply enter the appropriate pension input amount for the relevant scheme, and the calculator will then work out the amount, if any, that the trustees are required to pay if asked. This worksheet is linked to the import sheet. It picks up the total tax liability, in this example 8311, on any excess charge from the tax calculation sheet. So there's the 8311, and if I go back to the tax calculation sheet you can see that's where the figure's coming from. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video of the PenCon tool. If you have any further queries, please email support@absolutetax.co.uk or alternatively call us on 01869 255 797.